Hello and blessings, beautiful souls. How are you today? My name is Avalon Cameron, and today's video is a very, very special collaboration with the beautiful Witch of Wanderlust. So the beautiful Olivia and I have been talking for a little while now on Instagram, determining what kind of video we could collaborate on, and we decided on doing something special for Mother's Day, something magical and mystical and beautiful, specifically designed for our beautiful mothers on Mother's Day. I'm sure that some of you will be able to relate to what it is that I'm about to say, and that is that I live quite far away from my mother. In fact, I live in a completely different country. My mother lives in Brazil and I live here in Australia, and so it's not often that I get to see my mother or interact with her in the same ways that I used to. So I would like to create for her a beautiful blessing jar, and this is something that I would like to share with you. And I would like to just walk you through the process of how I create such a thing, and perhaps it's something that will benefit you and your mother during this time where a lot of us are in fact feeling the strain of separation from our loved ones. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, first you are going to need a jar. As long as the jar is sealable, I've got here a small kind of mason jar and it's very well sealable. So these are the ones that I prefer to use as shaker jars. Here is one that I have used previously that has been in action for a while, as you can see. And so I trust it not to open up on me, and it's just the brand that I prefer, or the style that I prefer. You can actually go smaller than this if you like, but I plan on putting quite a bit of stuff in here. And so what I first like to do is just clear my space a little bit. And I'm just using a piece of ethically cultivated or harvested Palo Santo. Palo Santo is something that I am accustomed to working with. Since I am Brazilian born at the end of the day, it is something that has made up a part of my spiritual practice for the longest time. And I like to just smudge or smoke cleanse, I should say, the inside of my jar. And just the components. Next, I'm going to write a little petition. And I have a piece of brown paper here and a pen. I am going to use the blue of this pen because I like blue for healing and communication and those types of things. And so I'm just going to write a simple petition, a blessing to my mother, and we'll go from there. I'm going to anoint my petition with thyme, just pure thyme oil. You can use any kind of oil that you like, that you believe would fit well with your petition. Because my relationship with my mother requires a little bit of extra healing, I thought that thyme would be great because, as they say, thyme heals all wounds. I just created a 5-point fixing pattern, and now I am going to fold the paper towards me, like so, or the petition towards me, like so, and hold it in my hot little hands here, and just say a nice little blessing over it. Just hold it and spend a little moment with it. Just infuse it with your energy, infuse it with your blessing, connect with it. Consider it a letter to your mother, something that needs to travel far. And make sure that you pour all the sentiment that is needed into your petition as you hold it in your hands. This is a great time to say a little blessing, a great time to say a little prayer for your mother, something that assists both you and her and brings you closer together. Okay, so now I am going to place the petition in the jar like so. I have here a small piece of rose quartz for gentle love. I think this would go nice as a blessing. I pulled it out of my my basket of crystals, and so I am just going to connect it with my carnelian heart to cleanse it a little bit. My mother is an Aries, a fire sign, and so a carnelian heart, a fiery heart, seems like the best way to cleanse. I'll also give it a little Palo Santo, and you can use sage. If you have sage, you can use any kind of incense that you like to use for cleansing and clearing and blessing. And so that goes into the jar. I'm going to be using a piece or two of rose resin. It's good to bless each item as you put them into your jar, but you can also leave the blessing of the items to the end. When everything is in there, you can provide everything with one single blessing. It depends on what it is that you would like to do and how you would like to do it. So I'm adding here rose for healing, luck and protection. My mother is quite connected to the rose flower, and as such I hold that firmly in my mind. If you'd like to know more about how I see the rose, I will link it in this video up here, because I do have quite the motherly association with rose. I'm also going to be using chrysanthemum flowers. Now, one thing that I love about chrysanthemum flowers is that their folk name is Mum. And so I thought that it was particularly beautiful to use it in this particular blessing jar. Now, some of the strength of a chrysanthemum lies in its protective capabilities. And so I want my blessing to my mother to be protected, and I want the bond between me and my mother to also be protected. So I thought that I would add a little bit of Mum to the mix. I have here some lavender, and I'll be using lavender for longevity, happiness and peace. Lavender also has a slight healing component to it. Well, it's not slight, it's actually a beautiful healing component. And my mother and I sometimes do not see eye to eye, so I'm hoping that the addition of lavender and its beautiful properties will aid us in harmonizing. I have a little bit of jasmine here, and I would like to add jasmine to my mix for love and prophetic dreams. Now, I also believe that jasmine could provide us with dreams in between both her and I, a connection, a psychic connection between her and I in the dreamscape, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. And so I thought this would be a great addition to the blessing jar, and also it holds that beautiful energy of love, so it's an extra layer of love. I have here some olive leaf, and I thought this would be wise for me personally to add to this mix because, well, I have a difficult relationship with my mother, and I suppose extending the olive branch would be a great idea. And also olive leaf, you know, holds the properties of healing and peace and potency. I like the idea of adding it to the blessing jar to increase the potency of the blessing, but also that, you know, that healing aspect through love. Again, you're quite welcome to add anything that you like. I've really considered the type of relationship that I have with my mother and the types of things that I would like to achieve through this blessing jar, and that has determined the type of ingredients that I have added to the jar itself, but you will have to do your analysis on your own. Obviously, each one of us has our own, you know, association and relationship and energy and etc. between ourselves and our mothers, and so all of that needs to be taken into consideration. Next, I'm adding a handful of dried mugwort, and many people know what mugwort is, or many witches know what mugwort is used for. I'm using mugwort today for strength, protection, and a psychic connection particularly. Next, I'm going to be adding a little bit of gravel root. This is also known as Pye Weed, and it is fantastic for love and respect. Now, being that my relationship with my mother can be quite strange from time to time, and I'm sure some of you can relate, I think a little bit of mutual respect will cultivate an understanding, and I think it'll go beautiful in this blessing as well. I had to hunt around for this next ingredient. We don't use a lot of sugar in my household, but nevertheless, I have some raw brown sugar here, and I'm adding sugar to this mix to sweeten the disposition, to sweeten the blessing, if you will. I'm going to add quite a bit of it because we need it. Okay, so I'm about to seal this up. I'm pretty happy with what I have in here. You can add anything that you want to this blessing jar as long as it holds that association with blessing. Anything you want, make it your own. Really go above and beyond in making it something beautiful. You can add all sorts of incredible things in here, trinkets if that is something that you wish to add. Anything really. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what else you could add, but really it's anything that you believe would hold the energy of a blessing for your mum. I might just add a little touch of thyme to the lid. Tighten it nice and good. Mix it all together. This is when you can actively hold the whole entire jar in your hot little hands and say that epic blessing. Bless every ingredient that you put in here. Thank every ingredient that you have placed in this jar, and just hold that energy of a blessing. Just hold that gratitude. Just really hold it in your heart, hold it in your mind. Hold it in your soul, really. I'm now going to go out into my garden and grab a few flowers and sort of anything natural just to decorate the plate. I'm then going to be putting my candle on top and we'll go from there. So I'll be back shortly. I am going to add a few little dried petals of roses, but I'm also going to go out to my rose bush, which is almost gone, and get a few fresh petals. Okay, so here's my garden haul. We're edging into autumn here in the southern hemisphere. I got chased away by a bee. That was hilarious. And I managed to secure these two beautiful dahlias. Brought a few ants in with me, but I have some nice red roses and some fresh jasmine here. I just wanted to create that beautiful environment and, you know, something pretty. Okay, I am going to use this beautiful pink rolled beeswax candle, and I've decided to go with pink for this particular blessing jar because it's for gentle, peaceful love. And I thought that it would be beautiful to use it. It's kind of uneven, so I might have to work hard to sort of stick it to the top of the jar, but we'll see how we go. Now, if you don't have pink, you can go with white. You can also go with light blue to bring a little bit of healing and patience into the equation. Or you can go with green to bring, you know, sort of health and vitality and prosperity into the equation. So you have options. Don't forget to trim the wick. And don't forget candle safety. It's firmly on there. I just feel like adding something else to it now. I might add like a little road opener oil to it. This is not the best way to anoint a candle, but it will work. I'm now going to light the candle and allow it to burn all the way down over the top of the jar. And once that has happened, it will be ready for use. It will be blessed and ready for use. Once the candle is lit, it's a really great time to sit with your blessing jar and just hold that beautiful blessing, the energy of that blessing in your heart and in your mind. Say some words, say a prayer, say a blessing, and just sit with it and just allow your heart to connect with it. And just enjoy the moment. That is it. I'm going to be sitting here until the candle burns out and just holding that energy of blessing in my heart and maybe chanting a little bit, definitely meditating a little bit. And that's it. Once that candle has fully burned down, the blessing jar will be ready for use, and all of these beautiful botanicals that I've cultivated will be returned to my garden with Thanksgiving. So I hope you've enjoyed this collaborative video with the Witch of Wonderlust. I'll be linking her video in the cards at the top here and also in the description box below. I highly encourage you to check that out. And in the meantime, I am wishing you guys so much love, luck, peace and joy. I hope that you have an incredible Mother's Day and that you're just having an amazing day. With all of that said and done, much love and many blessings. Mwah!